Alrighty, I think we are ready to start.
Ready to roll.
Good morning this afternoon. That depends on wherever you are. I am now in Nairobi, same time as Kampala. And I am here with my lovely wife, Fiona Lukwago.
Hey.
It's cold a little bit here compared to my home Kampala. So I'll be getting to Kampala soon. But I've had a good time here, resting, recuperating, learning, cooking, you know. Okay, I've cooked only once in the last week. Ugali. Yeah, I cooked eggs also. Just had some nice seasoned eggs. She has lots of powders here. I didn't know what.
Spices.
Spices. I just put all of them in the eggs and somehow it came out nice. So we are your coaches for this week. We'll put out this video shortly and then we'll have a live conversation with you on Thursday, I think. Yeah, Thursday. So Fiona, for those who never got a chance to interact with her during the TRAiN campaign, she's a lovely lady. I've known her all my life. No, not all of my life. But we've been married for many years now.
Yeah.
A dozen years now, 12 years. She's John Maxwell certified. She works here in Nairobi. She runs masterminds and helps leaders in so many corporate organizations. On Saturdays, she runs masterminds with small classes of 8 to 10 people who are having conversations around leadership. The 15 laws of growth that we are doing, she's done numerous lessons on this. But she works for AECF, Africa Enterprise Challenge Fund. They oversee 26 countries. They give money, a lot of money. About $250 million is what they give out to businesses to grow. They are not a bank, but they are bridging the gap between venture capitalists, banks, and people like that. So she gets to meet lots of leaders, lots of business leaders across Africa, and she will share some of the lessons as we go along. And you want to introduce me? I also taught in some of the TRAiN classes, but maybe not the class that you are part of. She was with Vivo Energy. She went to, where else did you go?
Watoto stuff.
Watoto.
Church stuff.
World Vision. Yeah. For those of you who are with me, you remember, I think I was with the IDI, I was with the Stanbic Bank, I was with the Kilimo Trust, I was with many, we were moving. every day we are moving somewhere. Glad to be with you. Today we are talking about the law of the mirror. You have to see value in yourself to invest in yourself. You have to believe in yourself to invest in yourself. Earlier on, you had Coach Elaine and Tony, and they were talking about the law of intentionality. Just to recap for those who missed, you will never find a certificate of intent or a statue built in honor of Mr. Julius Lukwago for having intended to change the world. No, the world moves with action. Okay, the currents of the world, the currency of progress is action. If you have no action and you have intentions, well, that's just what it is, intentions. And we learned about the law of diminishing intent. The longer you wait at doing something that you intend to do, more likely that you won't do it. So get into the intentional mode. All those assignments, commitments you made in your workbooks during the TRAiN campaign, it's time to get them out and say, okay, I said I'm going to do this. I'm going to act on this. Where am I with this? So that's the law of intentionality. Nothing happens by chance. You have to be intentional. Growth in age, yeah, it's just going to happen. But growth in capabilities, growth in skills, growth in what you're able to do, growth in your bank wallet or account, that doesn't just happen. It has to be very intentional. And next, you also covered the law of awareness. You have to know yourself to grow yourself. You have to figure out, what am I good at? In which areas do I need to grow? Then you add your intentionality in that. So these are the 3 areas I want to grow in. These are the books I need to read to grow in that area. These are the people I need to help me in that area. And that's the last 2 weeks. So this week we are covering the law of the mirror. You have to see value in yourself to invest in yourself. Over to you, Fiona.
Okay. First of all, I'm glad I'm married to you because I'm sure you saw a bit of the application of the law of the mirror. Because I believe that it is very difficult for people to attach a value to you if you do not necessarily attach that same value to yourself. So the value that I attach to myself is the value that others will attach. So I think it's very critical. So thank you for seeing the value. And ever since then, I am keen on increasing that value in myself. So that's what the law of the mirror is all about. That it is impossible to consistently behave in a manner that is inconsistent with the way I see myself. So if I do not believe in myself enough, it will be very hard for me to reach out and do things that I consider great. So for me, it is very critical the way we see ourselves. It will be difficult after the law of awareness, and now we know what we are good at, we know where we are, we know what we want to become. It is very critical that we actually start believing that we can become those things. It is critical that we start the journey of adding value. So each morning before I go to work.
Just before you, there's something you say that really gripped me. Like I can't grow in some areas, even though I know I have those skills and capabilities. But if I don't, I've just gotten some audit, strength audit. I've done what Coach Gavin and Coach Bongire helped us through last time, and Coach Mancia say, okay, these are the areas I'm good at. But you're saying, until I constantly believe in myself that I can apply those skills to go further, I want to get there.
Yeah, because first of all, it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of time, a lot of energy, and some money for me to become the kind of person I want to be, to achieve the things that I believe I can achieve. So for me to invest all those 4 things, the effort, the energy, the time, and the money in myself to become the image that I always want to be, it will take me seeing myself as valuable. I must see myself as worth it. Otherwise, I will not invest that time, I will not invest that energy, I will not invest that money. So for me, it's fundamental. It must start there.
Fundamental because, as John Maxwell says, it's the lead on what you are capable of doing. For example, in the law of the lead, which is not covered in our 15 laws here, in the 21 irrefutable laws of leadership, he says, the leadership lead that you have on your life will affect your business area, will affect every other area of your life. If you can't lead, you can't go far. But he says in this particular law as well that the value you place on yourself, let's say on a scale of 1 to 10, if you think you are wonderful, you're valuable at the level of 3 out of 10, that's the image you have of yourself, that's the self-esteem number that you place on yourself, then you cannot rise beyond that. I think that's what Fiona is trying to say in what I'm gathering, that if I don't believe in myself, my business will never grow beyond the value that I see in myself, because I will constantly sabotage myself. There will be tenders, I'll say, I don't think I am good enough to go for that tender because it's really too big. Even though you have the capability to do it, you'll say, okay, who am I? Nobody knows me. I grew up in this geographical area. I look at the color of your skin and say, okay, if I was on my tribe, if you constantly sabotage yourself. And
for the school I went to,
I will tell you a story of a young man I was helping, and he was the best writer in his circles, and somebody recommended him to write for the Commonwealth. And the Commonwealth has a group of great writers, and they send out an invitation each year to say, send us your work for competition. We want to recognize the best in the Commonwealth. Commonwealth, you know, the Chogam guys and Commonwealth folks. You have countries as diverse as Nigeria, UK, Malta, Uganda, of course. So people in the Commonwealth all gather their works to be evaluated, to say, okay, we are good, but this is the best amongst us. And this young man got that invitation. It doesn't go to anybody, it goes to the best. And you're supposed to submit your work so they can see the best amongst the best. And he prepared his work. But on the day of submission, he evaluated his work. He said, this is good, but wait a moment. Am I able to beat the guys in UK? Will I be able to beat the guys in Malta? Oh, Nigeria has some great writers. I don't want to submit this and then people will say, who invited this one? Is he a market? So he stopped himself from sending. And we were just having that conversation with him. I said, how did you begin to evaluate yourself and sabotage yourself? If the work is no good, put it out there, let people decide if it's no good. But he stopped himself because he did not see value in himself to beat everyone else in the world. He narrowed brilliance to a geographical location to say, if I am from Uganda, maybe my work is no good. If you are from the UK, maybe your work is better. So that alone made him not submit his work. Who knows what could have happened if his work went out there and people saw that, it's good.
Who knows the value he denied other people just because of the self-limiting beliefs he had about himself. But I like this book by John Maxwell, 15 Laws of Invaluable Laws of Growth. There's this one statement that he writes, and he says that if you put a small value on yourself, rest assured, the world will not raise the price. So it is very hard for me to give myself a 2 and I expect the world to see me as a 5 or a 4. So I might as well be just rest assured that the world will not raise the price. The way I see myself is how others will see me, and that is how they will respond to me.
Wow.
And so it starts with me.
Yeah.
The way I want to be viewed, the way I want to be seen, it starts with me. It is me to create that image that I want to see. And in turn, when people see it, then they acknowledge it, and you continue to boost your own self-image like that. It is really, as you give, they give back. As you give, they give back.
Lovely point you raised. Just a quick story. I was interviewing a young man for a job maybe 5-6 years ago. We were looking for a community health expert in northern Uganda. And this man had a great CV. We had done the practical work. We had interviewed him. And he was one of the contending candidates. You would see at least this one, yeah, we can give him a chance. So when it reached that part where you ask, having seen the responsibility, how much do you want us to pay you for this job? And this man told us an amount. We couldn't raise it. He told us an amount. I don't remember the figures, but think of it this way. Let's say the job had been earmarked to pay this guy 2 million Uganda shillings. The guy said he would be happy if we paid him 100,000 Uganda shillings. So first we didn't know. Is he talking about dollars? He says, no, 100,000, I'll be happy. And as interviewers, we want to be fair. So we just keep digging and say, oh, what do you mean 100,000? You've seen the responsibility of the job. We want to pay you so that you are not constantly thinking
you're motivated.
Yeah, you're motivated.
To deliver.
You're not trying to find another job elsewhere. You want your heart focused. So what we pay you takes care of your savings, your housing, your accommodation, and meals and all. And then he raised it. He raised it. Can you imagine? He did well. He raised it. He said 200,000. Yeah. And so for us, we didn't go much further than that. We continued with the conversations, but it helped us to see this man did not understand the weight of responsibility of the job. He had never done a job of that magnitude. Maybe he did well, maybe our instrument for doing the practicals was not thorough enough. So he, with just the value he placed on himself, he was going to lead a team of community health workers in Gulu district. It appeared he hadn't done a job of that kind before. He knew how to impress us, he knew what to say, but we could only tell because of the value he placed on himself. Who knows, if he had said, guys, I am able to do it, he would start and then demonstrate expertise.
Yeah, so I think for me, it is very important that we all learn constantly how to increase our own self-image, our own self-esteem. And so the law of the mirror teaches us key things. There are 4 key things that we must do. The first one is to guard our self-talk. What do I constantly tell myself? Because I'm the most important person I get to listen to every day. I'm the most important person that speaks to me, and I'm the most important person that I listen to. So, and unfortunately, I listen to myself more than I probably listen to everybody else. I tend to believe that everything I say about myself is absolutely true, because I'm not arguing with anyone. There's no third party here. It's just me and myself. So it is very important that we start from that fundamental of guarding my self-talk. Sometimes when I'm here by myself, when you're not here, I call my mom and she's like, and I tell her, oh, mommy, I'm here alone. She says, no, you're not alone. You're not alone. You know who you're with. And of course, I know she's referring to God. Like I should use that time to speak to God and all that. But I agree 100% with that until I learned recently that there is someone else with me the entire time. How am I having conversation with myself? What am I spending my time talking to myself about? Is it positive stuff or is it negative things? If I had a bad day, am I evaluating myself negatively? Am I saying things like, oh, I made this mistake, or it was not working, I'm no good, I keep messing up here, people are not happy with me? Or can I just reverse it and instead say, oh my goodness, I made this mistake, but how else would I have grown? Now I know better. Next time, I will be, exactly, I pick the lessons. So I don't keep beating myself up. And where I do something good, I also engage in that self-talk and say, wow, Fiona, did you see that? Yeah. That was fantastic. You know, you feel fantastic.
You think you're a 5, but you're actually a 7. Look
exactly, exactly. And that keeps building me up. So the way I spend a lot of time with myself, what am I speaking to myself? Yeah. It is very important for me to guard my self-talk. And I think the next fundamental thing is for me to add value. When I'm nice to you, I actually am more confident in myself. I actually tell myself I'm a good person. When I'm nice to someone, when someone is actually in need of either money to do something urgent, and it is very critical for them, they have looked everywhere, they can't find it, and I give, and usually it is not money that is too much for me, but just seeing the joy in that person's eyes, that someone has met their need, that's just enough to boost me for the day. And I just tell myself, I am a nice person. I do good things.
Yeah, just keep asking for money. Makes her feel nice.
Yeah, so
that's a joke. Don't ask.
So I think for those of us who struggle with having a low self-image of ourselves, when you do things small or big for people, there is something it does to our innermost being. It just boosts us up. We feel important.
We were born for significance.
Yeah, we feel needed. We feel that we are adding value.
That you matter. You are somebody in the world.
Exactly, I actually matter. So for me, that I don't think anything works for me like that. Just going out and getting out of myself. Stop reflecting on myself and my limitations, and I just go out and give whatever I have. Yeah, there's a way it just comes.
So you're saying the second thing beyond guarding our self-talk and making sure we're speaking good things about us is do things that add value to others. Every time you do something that takes your selfish or self-centeredness away, you begin to see great value in yourself, because God created us to bring value to the world. Yeah. When I was growing up as a scout, we used to have something called a good hand. You would get a handkerchief and tie 3 knots in the morning. You have to have them untied throughout as you walk through the day. If the day ends and they are untied, you're not a good scout. So a good scout walks with a handkerchief with 3 knots, a rope, and a whistle.
Yeah.
And you only untie that knot. Okay, I'll tell you during the Q&A, when does a scout untie the 3 knots? So don't miss the Q&A. I won't reveal the entire story. Go on.
I think the other thing that is fundamental is that I like watching movies where the hero, we actually, there's always a hero in some movie. Well, some of them the heroes die or something, but most of the movies, I like the hero because he has overcome something that is either that I'm struggling with or that I think is beyond the normal humans, or it is something difficult. He has taken a risk, he has gone against the status quo, or he or she, by the way, I am big on he or she. So he or she has gone against the status quo, she has challenged many people, people have said it's impossible, they say, I will do it, or something like that, something that challenges me. So for me, I admire that a lot, and I think if I could do it in my own space, in my own circumstances that are unique to me, it would boost my self-image. For example, if I just do the right thing when it is difficult in that moment, I am being my hero in that time. So when is it difficult? We just have to think of situations that have presented themselves and it has been very easy for me to say, no, I can't do this. Or
I'm not good enough.
Yeah, the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak, I just can't overcome this. Even if it's a temptation, to not eat right. Like, for example, today we are doing broccoli and mushrooms and we're going to just bring out some spinach. This is really a healthy meal, but it is not an easy meal to just, always prepare every day. And so every time we choose to eat healthy instead of indulging, it doesn't come easy for many people. So I put a big tick for myself and I'm saying, today I resisted. I feel good about myself. I actually think I'm a strong person. So that is how my self-image
resisted some difficult.
Exactly. Or someone shouted at me, and instead of shouting back, I deliberately keep quiet, keep my cool, and know that that thing will be sorted somehow, or it's just not the right time. Not many people get to do that. And the more we appreciate it, that not many people get to do that, the more we feel good about ourselves. We actually think we are...
You do something that's difficult. You do the right thing,
that are difficult.
Even when it is a hard thing to do.
Exactly. So the tip number 3 is do the right thing, even when it is the hard thing to do. You will boost yourself, you will pat yourself on the back, and you will just raise your own grade. From a 2, you move to a 3, to a 4. So really, that is one big thing that works for many people.
For example, in the workplace, we are talking about growth, and we're talking about how you become a better leader in the workplace. You will be faced with situations that, challenge your value system. So when you are able to maintain your value and you maintain a solid character in the face of people pushing back on your personal values, then you, of course, you raise your self-esteem. And everyone, by the way, we didn't mention, when you mentioned that the value you put on your head, that's what the world sees, and they never raise it. The world always sees the value you put on your head. There's no way like you can hide it. We see it. You walk into a room and we know this one is confident, this one is not. This one knows their stuff, this one doesn't. Those who are in Uganda, you even know some of the best communicators. What's that guy you're talking about? Tamale Mirundi. He has mastered how to make things stick with his concrete ideas, with imagery, analogy. And then he says cliché. He doesn't care whether he should be saying cliché and use an Englishman's accent. He's very confident in himself and he has a huge following and influence. So he walks in with confidence and the world will know he has a big price on his head. But others, you can see they are not confident in themselves.
Yeah. So I think actually for me, the next tip or the last tip, because we say there are 4 tips that work for us. Now there are many tips out there, but for me, I think these are the 4 that I know have really worked for me. I have had to learn quickly to take responsibility for my life. Now, it is very easy for me to feel frustrated or to feel cheated or to feel taken advantage of, when I was young or even when I'm old or at the workplace, and I blame everything on everybody else.
And the government. Yeah, I am not this because of my boss. Yeah. If I was...
I would be a fantastic leader if only I was given the chance to participate in leadership training. I would be a fantastic mother if only my mother had been a good example to me. I would be a fantastic wife if I was surrounded by, or if my husband was good. Maybe we should spend more time there. Yeah, but this one is a common one.
We need to stop her going there.
Oh, I'm not a good wife because my husband also doesn't love me enough. So why should I give when I'm not receiving? You know, I think we need to reach a point where it's just about me and my own growth.
I'm responsible for my success or failure thereof.
Yeah. So it is important that I see myself as improving. If I blame it on everybody else, if I have an excuse that I'm not included in the excuses, then it will be very hard, because you see, it is hard for me to work on my husband. It is hard for me to work on the government. It is hard for me to go back to my mom and say, by the way, mommy, can we redo this parenting thing again because I am failing as a parent? You know, there are things that you cannot go back to. So I have to take responsibility and say, everyone has contributed what they have contributed. It is time for me to get what I received, negative or positive. Both of them should work well for me to move forward.
Yeah.
So I get that and I take full responsibility and I move ahead because I have a certain image that I want for myself. I have a certain success story that I want to tell, to be told about myself. So it is very difficult to move everybody else. I'll not move.
Yeah.
I'm responsible for that success, and therefore I take responsibility and start moving and start investing in myself to get to the place I want to get. So for me, that point number 4 is very critical, that we actually take some time, think about all those things that have been holding us back, things that we have been blaming on other people, on other circumstances, and say that this has happened, yes. May the Lord help me to overcome it, to understand it, to use it, to propel me to where I need to go, and then I will move. And then I will get the resources I need, some of which I've been blinded to because of the blame game. But when I open my eyes and I take responsibility, I'll actually see that they're not very far. And I will get to be where I want to be. So for me, that's absolutely critical. So those are the 4 things that I would say.
Let's go over them again so we can, I think our time is fast spent. Go over them again. And
so guard your self-talk.
Okay.
Guard your self-talk, number 1. Number 2, you must find opportunities to add value to others. Not yourself, but add value to others.
Do something beyond yourself. That builds you actually. You become a better human being, person of significance.
Yeah, it builds your confidence. The third one is you do the right thing, even when it is the hard thing. You will be very happy with yourself.
Building the muscles of sticking with your values.
Yes. And the 4th one is take responsibility for yourself. Take responsibility for your growth and for your life.
The world owes you nothing, my friend. It's up to you to grow or not to grow. The government is not about to change things around your life, but you can change things around the government's life. So, 4 things, any parting shots, concluding remarks?
Yeah, I think it's important that we all believe that if we believe in ourselves, then we will bet on ourselves.
Yeah.
If we do not believe in ourselves, someone else will not bet on us to invest in us. No, it starts with me. If I believe in myself, I will bet in myself and improve myself and invest in myself to be a better Fiona, so that I can serve better, so that I can be of value. So it must
if you plant tomatoes, I'm looking at these juicy tomatoes. I'm sure somebody had to look for seeds of a specific quality.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you know you got seeds that are expensive, maybe not expensive being what defines value, but you know it is you are in that world. How do you know this seed has quality, been treated,
It's high yielding.
It's high yielding.
Yeah.
So if you know
it is a variety for which you want to use it. So there are different tomatoes for what I'm doing. There are different tomatoes for juice. So you must get the right seed.
So it's the right seed, you know, it's a valuable seed. What do you do with a valuable seed? You don't just drop it in rocky soil. You take it to fertile soils. You're very serious with when to water. You're very serious on the seed having sunshine, because you know you're dealing with a valuable thing. That's what the law is talking about. When you look in the mirror, do you see value? Because if you don't see value, you're not going to buy a book for you to grow. You're not going to attend a seminar that helps you to grow. You're not going to pay for a course to help yourself grow. Instead, you're going to wait for the company to do some train campaign so you get to learn. And probably you will put up a seminar like this, maybe not a seminar, but this online conversation every Thursday. And you'll be like, nah, I don't think I want to go and attend that, because growth is not that important to you. But we think that if you're not investing heavily in your own growth, there could be something about, you're not sure about the seed. Is it high yielding, well treated, valuable seed? And that's the challenge we leave to you. Can you write down 30 things about you? And you say, these are 30 things about why I believe I am a great seed. You have a list of yours. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, I think this is something. So we will not just say what is working for us, but we shall challenge ourselves to start with baby steps on how to boost our image. So the first one is you write something you know that is good about you. Come up with a list of at least 40 things that you're sure you know that you're good at.
40? That's a long list.
But I just started writing.
How about we say 30? Isn't it 30? She's challenging us to do 40. I think that's hard. 40 before what? Before Thursday.
40 before Thursday. So someone who will just start writing, writing away, then you will know maybe it's not a big issue. But when you struggle even with 5, then you know we need help. So I've just started writing my list. Is it clear?
Yeah, it's not so clear. You can read. But she's saying what she sees in herself, and this is the starting point to see the value you see in yourself. She's approachable, very true. She connects well with people. She's intelligent, open-minded, friendly. She brings value to everything she goes to. She's a good teacher. Yeah, you just taught us a lot of that. Quick learner, the list goes on and on. Now, if I read more, you might copy. Write your own.
And I'm also a great cook.
We will first test, then we will say yes. No,
yeah.
She is.
No, I'm a great cook. The next thing is monitor your self-talk. So between now and Thursday, let us just challenge ourselves to monitor what we speak about ourselves. So let us monitor our self-talk. Take a note when you start talking negative about yourself, or when you start saying positive.
Catch yourself.
Yes, catch yourself saying the positive things. Yeah. And finally, add value to someone. Just find one person that you really want to add value to each day. Yeah. Intentionally, just say, today, I'm going to make a difference in someone's life. Now, I don't know the kind of people that we are surrounded with, but I know.
Start at work, the people you lead,
start at home, make a phone call to someone you haven't been calling in a while, visit someone you haven't visited. Just do something, do something that you know will add a lot of value to that person. Not in your own perspective, but you know that person will really value what you have done for them. So just those 3 things. Yeah. Make a list of 30 things, positive qualities about yourself. And then the next one is guard your self-talk. And finally, reach out to someone and add value. Just those 3, and then we shall see how it goes on Thursday. We'll have a discussion and see how we feel.
All right, thank you, good friends, and see you on Thursday as we get deeper on this. And by the way, I will just tell you a story. Maybe I should tell the story on Thursday. I used to struggle big time with my self-esteem, big time. And I began to sabotage myself. I would not take on challenges that I can take on now. I couldn't do some of the big things that I thought I would do. I don't think I would even have married her because, you know, I looked at her and said, now, really, where do I start? You know, she was out of my league, but then I had developed some these skills we're talking about, just building confidence, you know, and then I asked her out. Good. It's a long story, but there are other things that, you know, in the work setting where I have had to challenge myself. Story, perhaps I should tell you, on Thursday, I was appointed to be on the CIM Learning Advisory Board in the UK, and I was on that board for 3 years, and now that board has the very best in the world when it comes to marketing, sales and marketing. We talk about professors who have written all the books we study, senior examiners of CIM. Those of you who know CIM, it's not an easy course. So I was a chartered marketer. I applied, and they interviewed lots of people across the world, and I was appointed. And the journey to believe in myself when I'm in that room, when I'm surrounded by the very best in the world, was not easy. And for the first few meetings, I really sabotaged myself.
I think you need to finish that story of Thursday.
Yeah, I'll tell you the story, how I managed to move from a 3 of self-esteem and then flip it around and add so much value until those guys said, okay, on Thursday. On Thursday, what time? 6 to 7:30. I'll start by telling you that story, how I managed to flip in my mind the conversation I was having, to see that I have value in myself and I can bring value to that world, and I immediately began to bring that value. If I did not believe in myself, I could not have done the things I did for that organization. So see you Thursday, and we'll continue that story.
And now it's time to eat.
Oh, sorry, you can't have this. You know, we need innovations where you can you can digitally see the food, but also eat it.
Okay. You like it?
No, I love it.
Yeah. If I didn't see that value, I would not cook you such a nice meal. So enjoy.
Let me also add value to you by saying thank you. Yeah, those of you who did the leader's journey, you know, we said practice gratitude. So continue doing that. Thank you very much.
Welcome. See ya.